some more.
Yo, what's good, people? Izzy Max here, back again with another Max Doubles League match. This match is, of course, me versus Toxic. Going into this game, I knew I was going to have some trouble because I don't really have any dedicated weather counterplay. The only weather counterplay I have is actually maxing anything that I have. So I knew that was going to be kind of rough going into this game. As you see, he did bring T-Tar, Excadrill, Meowstic, Gastrodon, Hitmontop, and Rotom-Mow. I am bringing Shucka Berserker, Wideland, Tsareena, Life-Orb, Primarina, Focus Sash, Terrakion, Chartyberry, Braviary, and Eviolite, Clefairy. So let's go ahead and get started. This is, of course, pre-recorded and sped up, so this doesn't take forever. Out first, I am going to just lead Hyper Offense. That's pretty much my plan for this week, was to just out-offense him. So I am leading Tsareena with the Terrakion and Primarina Clefairy in the back. I knew Terrakion was going to be good this match because he does have so much fighting weakness. Also, he kind of has a rock weakness if he wants to go for his Sun Core. And the Sun Core was a lot easier for me to handle this week because of my speed tier on the Terrakion. But he does bring a Sand Core this week, and he leads with the T-Tar Excadrill. And this is why I am Focus Sash on the Terrakion. And like I said, I knew I was going to have a hard time in this match, specifically because of his Sand Core. So what I'm doing now is going to try to overwrite the Sand and just get as much damage off as possible. My key to this game is just gaining knowledge for game 2 and potentially a game 3. I knew if I had the knowledge of what he brought, the 6 that I brought will be able to put the work in that I need. So as you see, he does max his Excadrill as I max my Tsareena. Once I seen that he brought no Charizard, I knew Tsareena was going to kind of be an issue for him. So that's kind of going to be my game plan going forward. He does protect the Tyranitar as he Steel Spikes the Terrakion, which is fine. I am Focus Sash. And so he protected his T-Tar, so my Terrakion actually isn't going to do any damage here on this turn. But I am going to max Overgrow the Excadrill. I thought I triple axled. I should have. But that is fine. I now get to train up my sequential max grass moves are going to be doing more damage. Here is when I actually decide to overwrite the terrain. And I'm just going to sack off Clefairy. After seeing what he brought, I knew Clefairy was either going to be super supportive lead or just a sack later on, as he does end up switching out his T-Tar, which is to be expected. He Steel Spikes actually into the Tsareena, and it does half, so that's actually good knowledge to know. Of course, the Excadrill is Life Orb. As I Hailstorm here, I wish I would have called it and went into the Rotom, because this isn't going to be doing too much damage to the Excadrill. I potentially could have knocked it out with a boosted max Overgrow, but I'm not for sure. He is at +2. So everybody gets a little bit of healing, and now I'm pretty sure I can KO the Excadrill. So I'm not too terribly worried about it, but I know for a fact he's going to be hitting a move into the Clefairy, so I am just going to go ahead and protect. Out comes the T-Tar, which is to be expected. He really kind of needs his Sand going. I protect the Clefairy here, as he does end up going for the Steel Spike, but it's actually into the Tsareena, and I live on 7 HP, which is huge. I should have done something else, but I didn't. The Overgrow comes in, doesn't quite KO it, which is unfortunate, as Tsareena does go down to the Sand. And Clefairy gets hit as well. If I would have just Follow Mead, that would have been a better turn. Primarina comes out here, and as long as he doesn't bring the Gastrodon, actually I think I might bring Terrakion. No, I do bring Primarina. As long as he doesn't have Gastrodon, Primarina actually puts in a lot of work. This is a very offensive Primarina. Modest Life Orb. And here I'm debating whether I actually click Hyper Voice or not, but I am, and I'm going to go ahead and go for the Follow Me. And this is where we have good information. So we know the Excadrill is Life Orb. Tyranitar keeps switching, so makes me want to believe that it might be Scarf. But it does have Protect, so that'd be a little weird. Maybe it might be a Max. Hyper Voice comes out here, does a decent chunk. So, I mean, that's pretty good. Clefairy here, again, still taking a decent amount of damage, but healing it right back off with the grassy terrain. And here I'm just going to click the same play. After talking to him after the match, he didn't realize that the Primarina was Life Orb. He just thought it was Choice Specs. And here comes the Iron Head. Clefairy actually lives it on 11, which is crazy, as the Rotom goes for the Leaf Storm and ends up knocking out the Clefairy, as I do a bunch of damage with another Hyper Voice and end up knocking out the Excadrill. I believe he sends T-Tar out again, and I'm forced to go back into my Terrakion. Of course, it's not going to be doing too much. Granted, it does outspeed the Tyranitar. So here, again, I am just clicking Hyper Voice. Everything that he has will die to it. And I do want to really close combat the Tyranitar, and I wish I did. I think he actually protects here. No, so if I would have close combated there, I do believe I would just straight up win the game. Actually, no, because I think the Rotom is... we don't know yet, but I think the Rotom is actually Scarf, as we now see that the T-Tar is Weakness Policy. So that's actually really good knowledge. And his last mon, I believe, is Hitmontop, and this is actually a Technician Hitmontop, which is kind of interesting. Here, I kind of wish I would have Moon Blasted, but the T-Tar is actually faster than Prim. So, I mean, I think they're just both neutral speed. I think Prim is base 60 and Terrakion is base 61, so it's not a huge deal. But if I would have Moon Blasted here, that would have been insane. I think this ends up knocking out the Hitmontop anyway. Oh, no, not quite. Sandstorm is gone, so this will for sure knock out the T-Tar. If I can get another hit off, this will kill everything. But, of course, the T-Tar is going to be faster than the Primarina. So it is actually coming down to a Rock Slide miss for me to win game 1. But he doesn't. Kills me. Which is fine. I knew going into game 1 I was going to struggle. Like I said, I can't really deal with his weather too well. So here in game 2, I have a lot of knowledge. I'm going to lead Terrakion Clefairy first, with Primarina and Tsareena in the back. Braviary and Berserker never come. This is the core 4 that will come to every game. This does go to a game 3, so I do end up winning this, of course. But we'll kind of see how I play this a little bit differently based on the item choices he has. And me knowing now that his Excadrill is not Life Orb or AV. Sandstorm, of course, gets set up again. I am just going to close combat the Excadrill. Knowing that the T-Tar is Weakness Policy, I don't assume that it has too much attack investment from the get-go. So I'm not too terribly worried about it. And if it gets boosted, my Terrakion is still faster in the sand. And I need to get this Excadrill off the field because it is the fastest thing. Terrakion does protect here, so I do make a good call. Here comes the Follow Me, the Steel Spike, of course. And this is actually going to knock out the Clefairy, which is fine. It can live an Iron Head, but not a max Steel Spike. So Clefairy did its job keeping the Focus Sash intact on the Terrakion. And the close combat does big damage, a little more than half. At +1, so I do believe another one will kill it. Even at +2 based on the damage. So I'm just going to do it again. The Excadrill also has to worry about its Life Orb. And then I'm just going to Max Knuckle, I do believe, into the T-Tar. And like I said, I figured Tsareena would be key. I almost wanted to go for the Hailstorm here, which would have been huge. It would have knocked out the Rotom. But I didn't. So, I wish I wouldn't have brought Wide Lens, because the Tsareena doesn't attack too terribly much outside of being Dynamaxed. But with the presence of a Charizard, I really couldn't do any other items. But the crit there didn't actually matter. After Life Orb, that was killing even at +2. So Terrakion takes out one of the bigger threats I was worried about, as the Max Knuckle here connects with the Rotom. Doesn't do too terribly much, but it's whatever. I get buffeted by the Sandstorm. Here we go. And I do believe he brings out the Hitmontop. And I was kind of worried at first in game 1 with the Hitmontop, thinking that it could be wide guard since I do have so much spread on my team. But after game 1, I figured he wouldn't be. The Thunderbolt goes off into the Terrakion as I, of course, Hailstorm the Rotom, and it gets off the field. Problem being here, I actually ended up KOing my own Terrakion with the Hail. As he goes for the Triple Axle, of course, that is Technician boosted, does more than half. Terrakion does go down to Hail, which is kind of unfortunate. I didn't mean for it to, but whatever. So out comes Primarina. This is where I was kind of worried about Wide Guard, but pretty much didn't expect him to have it. As he sets this Hail, or the Sand back up. And here I'm figuring, okay, you are probably going to Protect to waste my turns. And even if you don't, I don't want to proc your weakness policy so early. So what I'm actually going to do here, and I'm hovering, I'm really thinking about this one. It goes down to me almost timing out. I'm actually just going to double into the Hitmontop. I barely got it off. So I do call it correctly. The T-Tar does Protect. Overgrowth goes off. It actually just ends up one-shotting the Hitmontop. So it didn't have very much investment, and I'm, of course, not intimidated, so I'm still at +1. Moonblast goes off. T-Tar, of course, under a Protect. And this game is pretty much over. T-Tar can't really 2v1 without its weakness policy, of course. And if it gets hit by a Power Whip, which I am wide lens, so I don't think it would miss. It might be like 99 or something. And I'm pretty sure Moonblast potentially could kill it afterwards. So I'm in a really good position. Of course, Power Whip does hit and just ends up KOing the T-Tar. So now the game is 1-1, of course, in my favor now. So out next, I'm going to do the same thing. Go Terrakion Clefairy with Primarina and Tsareena in the back. And this was actually really interesting. So he ends up pivoting away from Hitmontop in game 3. And he ends up going with Meowstic. Now, the problem that I have, and I've said it in the breakdowns, Meowstic is way too passive to bring against teams that are super offensive. Especially if you're not going to tech a move that can actually do damage. So, I have Tsareena, which nullifies all priority. And I was expecting a fake out here, which is why this turn really doesn't matter. But he ends up setting up a Reflect as I close combat into T-Tar. Now, I don't know if he realized what Tsareena does or not, because he ended up leaving his Tyranitar in, which was kind of interesting. So I'm going to Triple Axle as well, just in case he switches out, because usually he's been switching that slot into Rotom. But he Thunder Waves, probably expecting Tsareena not to be Queenly Majesty, or not really knowing how that works. Because like I said, he did end up leaving the T-Tar in. Usually he switches that out. And with it being weakness policy, that is really his main way of doing a lot of damage. So now I'm in this interesting position where Meowstic doesn't do anything but set his screens. So I'm playing the All My Friends Are Dead thing. And I am just going to be soloing down on this Excadrill. And this is actually kind of interesting. I wish I would have went for the Knuckle here, because this would have made my plays a little bit more easy. So Excadrill, of course, maxes. That's probably his only Mon that really wants to max left. I do think he has the Rotom in the back. But I, of course, max the Tsareena. And now, of course, it is faster. Sets up the light screen. Nothing really else the Meowstic can do. But here comes the Steel Spike, doing a little more than half, which is kind of unfortunate. Close combat comes off, does some good damage as I overgrow, doing a little bit more, and I should have realized I live another one after the overgrow healing. Oh, not quite, because of the sand. Never mind. But here I'm actually in a really weird position. So I'm going to close combat and protect again, just trying to keep my things healthy, knowing that he's probably just going to be clicking Thunder Wave over and over and over again. But he does end up protecting, and so do I, so this is kind of a wasted turn. But I couldn't risk it. That's the problem I had here. I couldn't risk him not protecting. So everybody's, of course, getting healed and getting hit by the sand. And here is kind of an interesting play. So, knowing how important Tsareena actually is, because he still does have the Gastrodon, I actually end up switching out here and sacking Clefairy. So I foregone my third Dynamax turn, which is fine, because if he would have attacked into it like he does, he ends up killing the Clefairy. Tsareena just would have went down, and I really couldn't have that happening. So he does end up Thunder Waving my Terrakion, which it's kind of unfortunate. So the Steel Spike comes out. Of course, it does KO the Clefairy. I don't care at this point. Like I said, Clefairy just came in to be a sack for the most part. And then another close combat comes out, barely missing it. It was a roll. But he is pretty much on 1 HP. Of course, we do have the Grassy Terrain healing. So I am just going to go back out into the Tsareena, just in case he has like Charm or for whatever reason Fake Tears. And I'm just going to Earthquake and Protect. I still have my Focus Sash, and he probably still understands that the Tsareena has to get off the field. That is one of the bigger reasons why I wanted to keep it safe, because with it just being on the field, it nullifies Meowstic in every aspect of what it's supposed to be doing. So this was a really good play, getting the Excadrill off the field. And as soon as the Excadrill is off the field, I don't really care about the Meowstic, because all he has left is something that really doesn't do too much damage to anything I have. Of course, it does hit the Primarina super effectively, but Primarina is super bulky and can probably one-shot it with like a Hydro Cannon or even a Moonblast. So one of the good things here is I actually find out that it's Scarf. I still think it's Scarf. I don't find out exactly because Terrakion is, of course, paralyzed, but I'm pretty sure that it's Scarfed. And Terrakion stayed at full health this entire game. So, of course, can't really do anything else. Thunderbolt comes off. Tsareena is still fine. And the crit doesn't matter. This Triple Axle always KOs Rotoms. And then I just rack off a Rock Slide. Meowstic's not taking too much damage. And the game's pretty much over here. He has no more offense. Meowstic can't attack. Kind of the same thing that happened to him last week. He kind of just got stuck with Meowstic on the field. So that's going to wrap it up. I am on like a 5-game winning streak. So this is very promising. We have 2 weeks left of the regular season. Of course, I've already locked my playoff spot. And yeah, that's going to be it. Based on what has happened so far, I don't think I can drop any farther than 4th. So that's kind of huge. My camera went way out of focus. I do apologize. But that'll be it for me for this one. I will see you guys tomorrow with Hub's match. She plays that later today. And then on Sunday for the weekly breakdown. So stay tuned. Peace.